The first cases of the Omicron variant have been found in Malta. New COVID-19 measures have been announced amidst a record spike in cases. And George Vella claps back at his Serena boycott calls. All this and more on today's episode of Lovin Daily. Good evening, Malta and Gozo. Welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. I'm your host, David Gagapani, and with me is Jonathan Chilia. And for the second consecutive day, what a day it has been. So let's jump right into it.
You know, it was kind of inevitable. I know we were all expecting it to happen last week or next week, Christmas Day. But yes, officially the first two cases of the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus has been confirmed to be in Malta. This was confirmed today in a snap press conference held by Health Minister Chris Firm alongside Superintendent of Public Health Charmaine Gauci. Now, you might have been hearing about the variant in the news, maybe abroad as well. So there's a few things you need to know about the variant moving forward now that it is here in Malta. So while it is believed to be more contagious, ongoing studies are showing that it actually might be less severe and have less severe symptoms. And as it stands right now, there have only been a handful of recorded Omicron-related COVID-19 deaths globally. So, do keep that in mind as we're moving forward. However, that said, when it comes to the daily numbers, the daily COVID-19 numbers, today was a bit of a shocking day. Malta had a record 773 new COVID-19 cases. Now, this follows yesterday's massive, at least as far as yesterday was concerned, spike of 582 cases in just 24 hours, which is the highest recorded case count since March. And alongside that, it's good to know that there are currently 6,500 people in quarantine right now. And as a result of these numbers, obviously the government has rolled out and announced new mitigation measures to come into effect over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, some of them were expected, some of them we were kind of hoping that they wouldn't happen as of yet, but they have been announced. And the first one and the main one that most people will be speaking about, of course, is that all events as of Monday will need to shift back to seated arrangements. Practically eliminating, all the standing parties that were planned between Christmas and New Year's Eve. This, of course, excludes weddings and funerals, which have their own protocols that they will be following, the same ones that they have been following all along. Meanwhile, establishments will be required to close by 1 o'clock in the morning, which, I mean, I'm a little bit old, but that still is quite early as far as the festive period is involved. Sporting events will be allowed to carry on, but will not allowed to have spectators there. And one of the big ones, of course, for 2022, as of Monday, 17th January, the vaccine certificate will be obligatory to enter into a number of establishments. We're talking bars, casinos, spas, pools, cinemas, theatres, you name it, practically everything except supermarkets and pharmacies. Of course, it's important to note that if you've been fully vaccinated with 2 doses, so without the booster, less than 3 months ago, you will be allowed, so the vaccine certificate will be valid. But then after that, the booster vaccine will be required. Essentially, what that means is, by April, if you want to do anything that involves entering an establishment that isn't a supermarket or a pharmacy, you're going to need to be vaccinated and boosted. Of course, it's already looking good as far as the uptick for the booster goes, because 41% of the country has already received the booster dose, as announced by Health Minister Chris Firm earlier today. And the good news is that if you are, desperately looking to get boosted as soon as possible, as of Monday, as of this Monday, every single adult in Malta, 18 plus, can register to get their date. You probably won't get it by 2021. There's going to be a line, I'm sure. The server might crash for a couple of hours, but it is coming, and that is, of course, to anticipate the 17th January rush that there will be for all these vaccinations.
Now, these mitigation measures have been welcomed by some parts of the country, and obviously other parts of the country are not very happy with them. The government said that they're rolling out these measures specifically to halt the spread of the Omicron variant, which is just the newest variant to hit the Maltese Islands. And with these numbers, you do see the reasoning and the logic behind the government's decision. That said, it is the holiday season. I saw a lot of people commenting commenting how they were looking forward to seeing their grandparents, and now they're going to be a bit more wary. So obviously, if you do plan to meet your family, have large gatherings, especially if there's elderly or vulnerable people there, do, be safe, wash the hands, keep the mask on, all the things that we've been doing for the last 2 years. Do what we can to, halt the spread of this virus that at the end of the day is killing people. Moving on to the next story, a bit of a story that shows the lengths of which people are ready to be cruel as far as getting political gains the islands can be. The president of Malta, George Vella, has actually called out people who are threatening to boycott the annual national fundraiser, Istrina, in a strange attempt to get back at him for for signing off on the cannabis legalization bill in the last few weeks. So obviously Malta did the historic legalization of cannabis, the first in Europe to do so, and the president had to sign it off to make it into law. This is just a kind of a formality. He didn't really decide whether Malta wants to legalize or not. He's the final signatory after 3 readings and debates in Parliament. However, many people had mistakenly thought that he had the power not to sign this into law, and because he has signed it, a very small group of people are now threatening to boycott Istrina. In a strong video message, George Vella, said whoever is thinking of boycotting Istrina should instead look at the patient in the eye. These are people who need treatment, he said, and people who benefit directly from the Malta Community Chest Fund, and anyone that is trying to not give money to get back at him specifically, he described as cruel.
Yeah, I mean, it's very weird. Of course, there are those constant arguments to be made that, Istrina should be about promoting this kind of kindness and charity towards every single day of the year, not just one day. But at the same time, it's extremely strange and extremely weird to make this connection and, inevitably have people suffer who are completely unrelated to this. It reeks of extremely unfestive behavior, and in fact, George Vella did not hold back, and there is, in fact, this is his statement that we will be now playing for you.
li bżonn il-kura u li qed jibbenefika mill chest fund, jgħillilek ħawaqaflek il-flus biex ninki l-President. Din hija xi ħaġa li rrid li nwassalha u li rrid li nirriflettu fuqha. Għaliex wasalna f'dan l-istat assurd li anke mill-marit nippruvaw nagħmlu kattiverija.
Yeah, strong words there. Couldn't have said it better myself. Anyway, meanwhile, an update to a story that first broke yesterday, actually. Jorgen Fenech, the man accused of masterminding the assassination of Daphne Caruana Galizia, and his family have been banned from traveling to the United States. So this was revealed this time round not by an official statement by the US State Department, but rather by a statement by PN MP Jason Azzopardi. And this comes after, of course, yesterday's news that Keith Schembri and Conrad Mizzi have received similar sanctions, have been banned from traveling to the United States, of course, due to the corruption, which was the official statement, the corruption they engaged in while holding public office. Now, Azzopardi says that Jorgen Fenech has not been given the same official treatment, of course, because he's a private individual. But, of course, seeing that this happened 24 hours after Schembri and Mizzi's sanctions were made public, and seeing as the US State Department specifically made reference to the electrograss project, which Fenech played a central role in, of course, the implications were made, and in fact, Azzopardi himself said the implications are what they are. The State Department, in fact, as always, as you can expect from the US, did not hold back at all, especially when talking about, a country on the other side of the planet. They, in fact, described it as, a corrupt scheme that entailed the award of a government contract for the construction of a power plant and related services in exchange for kickbacks and bribes. So they just, flat out, they called it what it is. And Jason Azzopardi, of course, had to follow it up with yet another statement saying that, this is a catastrophic development, and in his eyes, there's only one future for electric gas, and that is for it to be dismantled or taken over by the state.
The fact that the United States of America would take sanctions against Jürgen Fenech is, very, very important for us to note. The fact that it wasn't released publicly because he's a private citizen from the US State Department, it's understandable. They probably have their own version of GDPR, but it's just good that it has emerged at the end of the day, for the United States to focus on one Maltese businessman and say, because of the corruption he's involved in, you can no longer even enter our country or our territories. Very, very important to get out there. And if you're interested in finding out a bit more about this, we have a whole article where Azzopardi kind of expanded on what it means, as well as some of the questions it raises. I think one of the most important things, just to close this topic off, is, he did note that the USA sanctions came as a result of information supplied by Malta's FIAU. And he's saying if we had this information first, why did Malta not act on it? Why did it take 2 years for the USA to act on it anyway? But moving on to the next topic, a bit of an interesting story, and I'd love to see what you make of this in the comments below. Talking about national or international controversies, a popular Maltese fitness instructor has had to apologize publicly on social media after an edited video of her smashing a very impressive jump turned out to be fake. So maybe you've seen this video yourself. Denise Gaffa had shared it yesterday. Lovin Malta shared it as well. This video shows Denise Gaffa completing this incredible jump. I think you're actually seeing it on your screen right now. Massive jump that comes as part of the Mega Box Jump Challenge, which sees athletes jump about 75% of their height. As you can see, the video is pretty epic. It's got some cool music behind it as well. When it was originally uploaded, it quickly went viral. Many people were like, wow, this woman's barely human. What an impressive feat. However, many people started commenting, is this video real? Is it edited? Has it been reversed? And now Denise Gaffa has come out and said, listen guys, yes, it has been reversed. It was all a plan, to get this challenge a bit more virality and get it out there. At the end of the day, they want as many people as they can to do this incredible jump. But she did say, listen, I want to apologize to everyone who took it so seriously and who was actually insulted by it. It was not my intention to hurt people. And she kind of explained that, she received a lot of abuse online herself after the video went out. This was never the point of it. I don't think she was expecting it herself. So she has apologized for that. But she did tell people, guys, at the end of the day, be aware and don't trust everything you see. Quite a big reaction to quite a viral video, right?
I mean, yeah, look, if you just look at today's headlines, right, or the last 24 hours, so you have the Omicron variant is in Malta, cannabis is legalized, and some people are so angry that they're actually boycotting charity. 90% of the country is vaccinated, but we've had to cancel most of our plans for the holidays. You leave the house and you get stuck in like a 1-hour traffic jam while seeing trees getting cut up. At least one person per day is getting seriously injured or dying because of, the horrific health and safety measures we have. Just another one came in as we were working as here, just another person. People who are running our country, are being implicated and sanctioned and singled out by the country, by the planet's biggest superpower. And yet some people are getting offended because an Instagrammer edited a video.
When you put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can definitely understand why some people would have been, offended, seeing as these are people who followers look up to. But at the same time, I know some people are not looking forward to next year because of the restrictions. I'm not looking forward to next year if it means, pranks are cancelled. But speaking of jokes and speaking of light videos, we ourselves took on the Mega Box Jump Challenge. Our box was not very mega, but our video was extremely real. And on that note, I'll please have you direct your attention to our TikTok account. That brings us to an end to today's episode. We're going to be leaving you with a trailer of our new touching Lovin Malta documentary, Dose of Red Nose, which highlights the awesome initiatives of the Dr. Clown Foundation. And from me and Jonathan, have an evening full of lovin'.
I love them. I miss them. Since COVID happened, they've not been so present in the world.
number one rule is if we promise them that we're going, we're going. Because you never promise a child something and take it away from them.
The children here are passing through difficult times. They're in hospital because they're unwell.
Clown doctors are people from all walks of life.
I work on one very clear, ridiculous, fairy assumption. If the child is no longer in hospital, they went home.
I mean, I can see a parade at the moment of the children that I have clowned with.
Seeing that child running in the corridors of the hospital, laughing her head off, that's fantastic.
But the clowns?
There's nothing better in the world than laughing.
Just as important as the medication prescribed by the real doctors.
Thank you, Dr. Clown, so much. I hope you stay in the hospital till the world ends. Literally, you are the best team ever. And you know what they say, laughter is the best medicine.